And for more on this, we're now joined by the UDM leader, Bantu Holomisa, and he joins us via our video link. Mr. Holomisa, thank you so much for joining us this evening here on SABC News. I mean, now just looking at that clip, you've welcomed a number of prominent people in your party. What do these new additions mean, especially now that we find ourselves in an election year?
Well, I guess that everybody is aware that South Africa is facing many problems. And we need ideas from different people in order to address those problems. And Mr. Prof. Mdwaba is one of those people who has traveled all the world and who has experienced a number of fields in his career. And I think that his contribution will go a long way in building South Africa. So if he didn't have enough space where he was, so we will be able to give him a space to share his experience, because he worked for the ILO and many other international institutions. So he should be an asset to the country, not only to the UDM. So we are welcoming him here.
And it sounds like there is really a well of experience. Do we know yet what role they will be playing in the party?
There's no specific role other than that we would like to hear more from them, because they're from the economic sphere, as to how do we get out of this quagmire where there seems to be no idea as to how to create jobs and how to bake the cake in order to feed the nation. What ingredients will they be suggesting to us? So they will be contributing like other members of the UDM, but with a little bit of experience, we expect a lot from them. Some of them are board members of the various boards in this country.
And Mr. Holomisa, you are indeed preparing, like other political parties, to host your manifesto launch. It is taking place in 2 weeks' time. What can your supporters expect from this manifesto launch?
Well, the United Democratic Movement is not going to dwell much on and lament like the government, who always lament, yet they have the power and the tools to fix the problems. So we will be merely identifying those problems, but focus more on the how part. How do we deal with the unemployment, the crime? That is what the voters, I guess, are interested in. They have been told this for the last 30 years. How do we get out of this? So we'll be putting our suggestions on the table.
What are your prospects for the UDM, especially based on their performance, on your party's performance for the 2024 elections?
The United Democratic Movement will be represented in various legislatures and in national parliament. And we must leave that to the voters. I think it's time that the voters of this country must look at these leaders and ask themselves one question: who of these leaders can we trust? And I think from day one, since 1997, the United Democratic Movement has been betting on a wicket of promoting ethics of good governance, betting on a wicket of anti-corruption. And we have hit 4s and 6s in the process. And we are still occupying that crease.
And Mr. Holomisa, I know that a lot of political parties in the country are part of the multi-party charter. Your party seems to be not part of that. When it comes to coalitions, have you begun talks with various political parties in terms of, who are you most likely to go into a coalition with should we find ourselves under a coalition government?
That argument is not good for the principle of a coalition. You don't worry yourself by telling people and putting conditions even before elections have taken place. The United Democratic Movement will wait for the results to be announced and see from there what would be the way forward. I'm not going to stress yourself and myself about that. I'm campaigning now for the UDM to go to Parliament.
And how important are these elections? A number of people are saying that this year is, these elections are there 1994. How important are these elections to your political party and its growth?
The elections are important because after 5 years, our constitution gives the people of South Africa an opportunity to evaluate and see what road have we traveled and what challenges have been there. So if the ANC government, which was given a mandate in 2019, has not performed well, then the voters have got a right to look elsewhere. Also, if they have performed well, they would still be free to strengthen the checks and balances and to make sure that the resources of the state are distributed fairly. So I'm looking forward, therefore, to elections which should be free and fair, and that let the voters have their last word. We have been there in the last 5 years as opposition parties. Others were running the country. But let's let the voters judge now who has done good.
And to those who may be watching tonight and, are maybe considering, to cast their ballot next to your party's name, in terms of enticing them to attend that manifesto launch, what do you have to say to those who may be saying, maybe let me give them a chance and attend that manifesto launch in 2 weeks' time? What do you have to say to them?
We welcome them, and we can promise them one thing, and that is we want to be pragmatic in tabling our manifesto and making sure that we are not just there to theorize and sloganize, but we identify a problem and suggest the way forward and possible time frames, and so that the people can see a government which is pragmatic in its approach rather than rhetoric and lies and empty promises.
All right, Mr. Holomisa, thank you so much for your time this evening and good luck on that manifesto launch. That is Bantu Holomisa. He is the leader of the UDM, just giving us an insight there in terms of the number of prominent people who have joined the UDM ahead of the 2024 elections, and at the same time also telling us more about that manifesto launch that will be taking place in 2 weeks' time at Gallagher Estate in Johannesburg.